So today I'd like to talk to you about farts. This is more of like a public service announcement about farts. So I've always said, maybe not always, but I've said a lot that farts are the universal joke. Everybody gets farts, no matter what language you speak or what age you are, if you're a baby, if you're 2 years old, if you're 80, yeah, whatever. You speak Spanish, French, Klingon, Swahili, it doesn't matter. It's the one joke that I believe is universal across all countries, faiths, religions, languages, ages, and whatever else. However, there are some inappropriate times to fart, and I have some unfortunate stories about such situations that are not ideal, but funny. So, first of all, let's list some times that are inappropriate for farting. Weddings, funerals, business meetings, the grocery store, elevators. Really anywhere in public that you can think of is probably not a great time to flatulate. I have a couple, 3 examples of poor timing when it comes to farts. So although inappropriate, often very hilarious. For example, say you're at the grocery store. This one's fun by yourself, but it's more fun with another person. So say you're grocery shopping with like your mom, your dad, your significant other, whatever. The fun thing to do is to fart and then just go to the next aisle. But sneakily. Don't fart loudly, more of like a SBD, silent but deadly fart. So what you do is, you release it, then you nonchalantly walk to the next aisle. The trick is, you have to be within earshot, because when that person's like staring at the groceries and then they finally catch wind of the demon you just released, that's the best part. When they say, "Oh!" then they realize you're not there, and then it's so fun. Probably not appreciated, but funny. Back when I was young, way back in 7th grade, we were taking a math test. A room full of students, really silent. It's a really awful time to pass gas. So, 7th grade, a younger, slightly less mature me than now. Taking a math test, you know, everyone's super focused, it's kind of a hard test. Then, you know, I get that feeling, that pre-fart feeling, you know what I'm talking about. For some reason, I decided to let her rip, and it was loud. Everyone, you know, raises their head, they look around, they know it was me. There was no question. I'd like to say I provided the class with a, you know, a public service. I provided some levity to the class for that very intense math test. They got a good giggle out of it. And then, I don't know, 30 seconds later, went back, everyone's heads down, back to taking the test. So, apparently I seem to have a habit of doing things twice. You would know if you've watched my pants pooping video, which I, for some reason, decided to put on the internet. So, maybe 2 to 3 minutes after that first release, I get that feeling again. And I knew I shouldn't, but I decided to anyway. I feel it coming, and I'm kind of looking around, and then I release it. Everyone freaks out again. If you were in that class way back with me in 7th grade, I'm sorry, but also you're welcome. Math class, one bad time to fart. Another bad time is during a graduation ceremony. This one, not me, but my brother. I'm sorry for calling you out on this one, brother. We're at my sister's graduation ceremony, and it's really, really hot outside. We're all sitting on these metal chairs, they're on the asphalt, and it's so hot, like the chairs are sinking into the asphalt. So I'm sitting with my family, my brother's right next to me. Right as like the commencement ceremony got quiet, my brother decided to release some gas. I know for a fact it was much, much louder than he thought it was gonna be, because the look on his face, there was a grin, but he also looked embarrassed and petrified at the same time. What made it so bad was that we were on the metal chairs and it was hot, and the metal chair just like amplified the sound. Everyone within like a 10-foot radius had to have heard this fart, and I know that for a fact because there are a couple girls sitting like 1 to 2 rows ahead of us, and they both turned around slowly, and they looked terrified. I knew it was so inappropriate, and I was struggling to not laugh hysterically, and I knew I was getting out of control because my brother's trying to quiet me down. He's like, "Dude, quiet." It was so ridiculously funny. Yeah, it was outrageous. One of the last examples I have, farting during sporting events is a pretty poor time to fart. And I'm not saying like spectating, but I mean when you're the athlete in the situation, it's a really bad time to fart. And I'll tell you why. Way back in my high school days again, I wrestled. During a wrestling match, I was wrestling this guy. I'm not a great wrestler, I wouldn't say, but I definitely had more experience than the guy I was wrestling. He must have been new. I'm whooping up on the kid pretty bad. While you're wrestling, you're exerting a lot of force. I've got this kid down and I'm wrestling him. I'm already kind of whooping up with this kid. I'm kind of beating him pretty good. I go to roll him over. While I'm exerting the force to roll him over on his back, I lose control of the butt function. I lose sphincter control, and I fart trying to roll this kid over. And then I start laughing, which was extra funny to me for multiple reasons. First, I'm thinking, I wonder if anyone in the crowd heard that. Second, I'm thinking, that poor referee, he had to have heard that. I apologize to him if he has to smell that. And third, I'm thinking, this poor kid that I'm wrestling, he's already getting beat up pretty good. And here I am laughing during the match. And part of me felt bad because that probably hurt his ego. Like, can you imagine like being whooped up on pretty bad and then the guy that's like destroying you starts laughing? And it's not a great time. I regain my composure and I'm like, all right, I gotta focus on wrestling here. I'm competing, be professional, be an adult. So I regain my composure, and not 1 minute later, same situation. I go to roll the kid over, and while exerting that force, I lose sphincter control and fart loudly again. It was hilarious the second time too. I felt sorry for the kid I was wrestling because he had to smell it. Plus I was probably hurting his pride. If you're out there, young guy that I wrestled many, many years ago, I'd like to formally apologize because I did not mean to. Sorry. Enjoy the universal joke that is farting. And as always, have a great Friday. Let 'em rip. All right, I got nothing. I'm just gonna stop now. I'd say there are more places and times that are inappropriate to fart than there are appropriate places and times to fart. That's just the nature of the beast.